and you saw it yourself. This place there is so, I don't know how people manage to live there. And so we have arrested several people, and they would be charged accordingly, taken to court, and then they will have to pay the fines as stipulated by the Act.
The sweeping raid in Banjul saw officers of Operation No Compromise chanced upon a fully loaded commercial vehicle with a registered capacity to carry 4 passengers, in contrast to the 7 the vehicle was carrying at the time. The team swiftly conducted searches on the occupants and found what operatives believe are suspected cannabis on 2 of the occupants.
Cannabis that we found in their possession. Hey, after my officers conducted search on them, they found this cannabis in possession of that gentleman who is also part of them. He threw it and it was picked, which means that all of them are accomplices to this cannabis. Did you search him properly?
The taxi, yes, was overloaded. We stopped the taxi driver to have him charged accordingly. But when we said the occupants of the taxi, who were these, I don't know, by files they call them, we found them in possession of suspected cannabis. So you see what an operation like this can bring up. We went out just on a single day, and we were able to see a lot of offenses. We also arrested somebody who was talking on the mobile phone while driving, which is a violation of the Traffic Act. This is done within just a short period. We've spent less than 3 hours in Banjul, and all of these things came to surface. Now, a lot of people will always say that, okay, Operation Bulldozer, Operation No Compromise, when you see vehicle checkpoints at night, and so a lot of people complain that it's too much, but they don't understand what really happens. Just 3 hours. Just 3 hours. We were able to come up with all of this. Imagine what goes on. We don't have to say everything that the security service, dig out and then, and then take to court and make sure that the Gambia is kept safe. What we need the people to do now is to come out and partner with. Let them understand here that we as Gambians are not here to put them in trouble. We are here to ensure that Gambia is safe for everyone. And the government of the day is not going to compromise on that. We are using the law to work accordingly, and so they must understand that.
One of the key interventions is to get rid of stray animals off the street of the city, an issue that is widely talked about. The unit has in custody more than a dozen animals that were caught roaming freely in Banjul, affecting traffic.
A lot of stray animals, even in Banjul, dogs for example, and also sheep. And Operation No Compromise is sending a warning to cattle owners. When we say cattle in the law, we mean sheep, goats, and so on. In Banjul, if they have them, let them keep them. Let them not let them go astray. We also observe that there are a lot of stray dogs inside Banjul, and we have communicated to the city council, and immediately something will be done to rid of all of that. Finally, I would also want to say that we are human. It is not our desire to go out to the streets and arresting people from their homes for violating the law. We understand with them, but then the thing is, we don't have to break the law in the first place. If we break the law, obviously the law is not here for any specific person, okay? We have to dance to the tune of the law. These people will be charged accordingly, they will be taken to court, and then the court will arbitrate. So I want the people to understand that this is done for the glory of the entire Gambia.
Today's operation by officers of the various security teams is seen as a way of warding off potential offenders, particularly those involved in indiscriminate littering, an act which attracts severe penalties ranging from $1,000 to $30,000. Reporting for Grts News, I am Abdullah Baji.
We'll take our first break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. As world leaders try to come to agreement on what to do about Syria, the suffering of ordinary people continues. There are critical food shortages in some areas, and as CNN's Our Demon reports, people, including children, are dying of starvation. But we warn our viewers that some of the images in this report can be very disturbing.
There is another killer working silently amid the chaos. Its first victims, the most vulnerable. In this video uploaded to YouTube by opposition activists, 2.5-year-old Ibrahim struggles for life. His body can't take solid food. It can only digest milk, but there isn't any for him. Through Skype, we reached Dr. Abu Samir in Syria, the pediatrician who treated Ibrahim. There are many illnesses we are confronting because of an absolute absence of food, Dr. Samir explains. We've depleted all of our food reserves, even animal products that could act as alternatives, because there are no animals left. Most of the residents of Mu'addamiyat al-Sham, just to the southwest of Damascus, have long fled. But among the 15,000 who remain, an estimated 5,000 are children, under siege now for months by regime forces, cut off from all aid.
For us, the fact that reports keep coming in from the area indicating the large needs inside, indicating that people are dying because they don't have medical supplies, people are dying because, they don't have food supplies, they don't have, as you mentioned, probably the necessary staples as well, is a serious cause for concern.
The ICRC's requests for access have repeatedly been denied, and there are hundreds of thousands of people living under a similar siege across the country. In this area, there are tanks on all sides. Only one route sporadically opens, and it's high risk. Presented with the tough choice between weapons and food, the rebels say they have to choose weapons. Otherwise, they will all be slaughtered by the regime. 9-year-old Ammar had a neurological disorder, and there were no nutrients, no food, no medicine to sustain his already weak body. People are eating leaves off the trees to stave off the hunger, Dr. Abu Samir tells us. Adults can force themselves to handle it, but the children can't. Some people rely on vegetables they can grow in their gardens, he adds. And this doesn't give one enough vitamins. There are no proteins, no fats. With little or no food and medicine simply unavailable, anyone with any sort of medical condition simply cannot fight it off. Imad had part of his intestines removed 2 months ago after he was hit by shrapnel in the abdomen. But there was no way to provide him with the amino acids and proteins his body needed to recover. The main reason is a complete lack of food ingredients that supports a child's immune system, Dr. Abu Samir tells us. We're told Imad died the day we spoke to the doctor. We cannot independently verify the authenticity of the videos or the causes of these children's deaths. The ICRC also can't confirm how they died or indeed how many people are in this condition, a point of immense frustration for them.
This is what needs to be highlighted. These reports cannot be confirmed, for example, by international organizations because they have not had access, and that lack of access is the main concern.
Unless the siege is broken, the doctor says, this is just the beginning. 2-year-old Ibrahim is another one of the innocent victims. The day after this video was shot, he took his final breath. Arwa Damon, CNN, Beirut.
In less than 10 hours, Australians will go to the polls in the country's national elections. It is widely tipped that the opposition leader Tony Albert and his Conservative Liberal Party win power. The current Prime Minister Kevin Rudd reigned the leadership in a party vote just a few months ago, but also Andrew Stevens' report, political infighting may end the ruling party's 6-year reign.
It's known as the Night of the Long Knives. Back in June 2010, the ruling Labor Party shocked a nation and dumped its leader, Kevin Rudd.
This has been a very busy 2.5 years.
Replacing him with his deputy, Julia Gillard.
Thank you very much.
Many saw it as the most spectacular stab in the back in Australian political history. But it was never an easy prime ministership for Julia Gillard.
I will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. I will not.
Almost 3 years into her leadership, an ugly row over sexism, rumblings within her own party, and a dismal performance in the opinion polls left Julia Gillard exposed.
Today I'm announcing that I will be a candidate for the position of leader of the Parliamentary Labor Party.
Gillard was ready. Finally, a chance to silence Kevin Rudd for good.
I believe